Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today I decided to switch things up a bit and went back and played Call of Duty 4. This game was incredible. Like, this, in my opinion, was the pinnacle of the franchise. They did everything right, the single player was fantastic, the multiplayer was ridiculously addicting. I put hundreds of hours into multiplayer. I got so much money out of this game. It was awesome. Like, this game is just a pinnacle of what a first-person shooter is all about. But one of the things that I was thinking about during my play session is, why is Call of Duty 4 thought of as being one of the best in the series? Like, whenever I talk to my friends or whenever I'm talking to my internet buddies, they always think of Call of Duty 4 in a positive light. They always say that the modern CODs are going downhill, the series isn't going to be as good, or it's never as good as it used to be. But why is that? And so that is what I wanted to explore today, because during my playtime I was having a lot of fun. I was noticing things, and I wanted to have a discussion with you guys, because I'm curious to know what you guys think as well. And so the first thing that I think it really comes down to is that a lot of gamers are looking back on Call of Duty 4 with nostalgia. They're drinking the nostalgia Kool-Aid. They're only thinking about it in positive light, and that's a natural thing to do as a human. Like, whenever you think back on your childhood, it's usually a positive experience. You only think about the positive things that happened in your life that influenced you, and you usually forget about the negative aspects of it. And Call of Duty 4 had some pretty terrible mechanics to it. I don't know if you guys remember this, but nade spam was a serious problem. You had a lot of people using, I think it was called martyrdom, where you would drop a grenade down when you died, which was always infuriating when you got killed by that. There was also last stand, where you'd bust out your pistol at the last second and kill people before you died. There was a lot of things in the game that was infuriating, but for the most part, people just completely forget about that. And while I'm by no means trying to insinuate that Call of Duty 4 was terrible by any means, like it was just a few blemishes on a perfect face, what I'm trying to say is that it was not perfect. Like, the game was not flawless like a lot of people try to make it out to be. So I think nostalgia plays a part in the role of why people loved it so much. The other thing is that the gameplay and the customization seems to be a lot simpler, or really is a lot simpler in Call of Duty 4 when you compare it to the modern ones, because if you're fighting someone in COD 4, you're probably using your primary to take them out. Like, maybe, sure, you can take them out with a grenade, or you can take them out with an airstrike or a helicopter up in the sky, but if you're on your kill streak, that kill streak is usually due because you're shooting at them with your primary. That, while is true in the modern ones, you guys know that the kill streak system has gotten a little out of hand. Like, when I played one of the most recent ones, I think the most recent was Black Ops 2, there are attack dogs, you have things up in the sky nuking you down, you got helicopters flying around all over the place, and if it gets to the point where you're in a match where one person is just dominating, they're just killing you over and over and over again, and there isn't anything you can really do to retaliate. I mean, sure, you could switch on over, try to take out their kill streak, especially if like it's a helicopter or something like that, but if they're doing really well, it's usually just going to compound on itself, and they're going to continue to do well because of the kill streaks that they have. And while that does happen in Call of Duty 4, like, helicopter gets pretty annoying at times, usually you can take out that person no problem as long as you're skillful with your primary weapon. As long as you know how to use your primary, you can win the firefight. Like, you're gonna do just fine. The other thing is that the perk system is a lot simpler. Like, the first time I looked at a video for Call of Duty Ghosts and I saw the ludicrous amount of perks that are available, I just shook my head. Like, I get what they were going for. Like, having a wide variety of perks is cool. As long as they're well balanced, it gives players a wide variety to choose from. They can have different play styles. If they want to play one way over the other, they're going to have the perks set up to do so. But the problem with that, and I wouldn't say that this is a problem, but if you're looking for the standard first-person shooter where everyone is using their primary weapon, and for the most part, it's just whoever has the best gun skills, you're going to meet a lot more randomness in a game that has so many more variables into it. You're going to have people just shooting at you with grenade launchers. They're going to go running around with knife only. I know that channel started up just knifing. That's all they did for their channel, was they just ran around and knifed people. And while I'm not trying to say that what they did was bad, I'm not trying to say what they did was wrong, because it's fine that they did those things. The fact that they have now been trying to make it so that every play style is legitimate, and they're gonna give you the tools to work around or use the play style that you want, has made it very difficult to try and balance everything out. If there are 50 different variables, or there's 50 different play styles that you have to balance and make sure that everyone feels fair and balanced and has its strengths and weaknesses, you're gonna run into some problems. Like, it is almost impossible. Actually, I would say it is impossible to try and accommodate for all of those different variables and all of that randomness in a game. And because of that, you run into the problem where you just don't have a balanced experience. Like, there are going to be a couple of things that rise to the top. There's going to be a lot of playstyles that are very annoying to fight against. And I think it's because of that which makes people so frustrated with the Call of Duty franchise right now, and why the simplicity of Call of Duty 4 was such a breath of fresh air when I went back and played with it for a couple of hours. It was because of that simplicity. There wasn't all of these random factors. It was basically just shooting people and them shooting back at me with their primary weapon, which made it so enjoyable. But all of that being said, I would be pretty curious to learn how well Call of Duty 4 would do and perform if it came out in 2014, because a lot of gamers right now, and for first-person shooters, they expect a ridiculous amount of customization. They expect to have a lot of scopes to choose from. They want to have a bunch of different barrel attachments, especially if you're playing Battlefield 4. The customization is over 9,000. Like, the customization in modern first-person shooters is just ridiculous. And one of the great aspects of that is that it increases the longevity of the game. If there are a ridiculous amount of things that you have to unlock, you're going to play the game more often. If you have all of these options, you're going to mix and match. You're going to try out all these different play styles. It increases the longevity. One game that just came out that doesn't have a lot of customization is Titanfall. Titanfall was incredible when it first launched. Everyone was playing it. It was fresh. It was new. Its gameplay is very well done. It's tight. It's fast-paced. The netcode is amazing. It plays very well. But just after a couple of hours, you realize that there isn't a lot of depth here. There aren't a lot of weapons. Those weapons you can't customize very much. There isn't a lot of variety in the Titans, and so gameplay devolves into the same thing every single round. Every single game mode feels similar. There isn't a lot of variety there, and so for the most part, everyone has just gone back to other games. They've gone back to Call of Duty. They've gone back to playing Battlefield 4, or really just any other game other than Titanfall. Like, I don't know the stats. I don't think they've actually said how many people are still playing the game, but it's clear that Titanfall is nowhere near as popular as it was during the launch. And while I would not say that that is to be expected for any game, it's plummeted significantly. Like, none of my friends are really playing it right now, and I think it's just because there isn't a lot of depth to the game. And that is basically what Call of Duty 4 is right now. Like, it's fun, it's amazing, it's simplistic, but it doesn't have a crazy amount of customization. And the nice thing about customization is that it gives you that variety. Like, every single time you jump in, you can have a different experience. You want to use a light machine gun with a crazy setup, you can do so. If you want to snipe with a different sniper rifle, that is also going to be available. Like, there is something to say about customization, and that's actually probably why customization has gone as crazy as it is right now, is because they want you to continue to play the game so that you'll buy their DLC packs. And so I would be curious to learn and know how well Call of Duty 4 would stand and how well it would do if it launched in 2014. Of course, increase the graphics, of course, update the maps and stuff like that. But I'd be very curious to learn how well it would perform in the modern market. Would people still play the game for hundreds and hundreds of hours like they do with the modern first-person shooters? Or would they get bored with it, be like, oh, I've enjoyed this for the couple of hours that I've played, but because it doesn't have a wide variety of customization, I'm just going to go back to something that's a little bit different. But this is where I would like to get your guys' opinion on this. Do you think that Call of Duty 4 was one of the top tier games out of the franchise? Why or why not? Where would you like to see the new Call of Duty Advanced Warfare heading? Do you think they should go a more simplistic route with their gameplay? And do you think that Call of Duty 4 would do as well if it launched today? Do you think it would be as successful as it was, I think, all the way back in 2007? But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun going back and playing on these maps. A lot of nostalgia. The gameplay was simply fantastic, and so I hope you enjoyed this mix-up. But until tomorrow, have a good one, and take it easy.